Hello friends of animation and welcome back to my series Honest Reel Reviews. To keep it interesting, we're watching a reel today from Adam, who is currently studying at the College of Art and Design in Savannah. He has 1 year left to study, but he wants to know how his reel looks like today. Adam told me he wants to become a feature animator. Now, to become a feature animator became really difficult over the last decade because of the quality of all the online schools blooming up during the last 10-15 years. The entry level is really high and you really need to know your skill set in order to get a job in feature animation in the beginning of your career. Obviously there are multiple paths to become a feature animator, but right out of school the entry level is quite high. I animated myself on 3 feature animations in the beginning of my career for around 3.5 years before I finally switched over to the VFX industry. This brings me actually back to my roots, which is amazing. I love cartoon and character animation. If you ever wonder what the perfect time is to ask for feedback, the answer should be always. Your teachers may be the best in the industry, but animation is variety. And you don't work with only one supervisor in your life. There are always different opinions, and animation is all about variety, really. In my opinion, it's just one of many. We will find out what works, but especially what is still missing in Adam's shot to help him improve his skills needed to get there and to graduate well with an amazing reel. But before we dive in Adam's reel, let's check really quickly what are actually important skills to have in animation. I actually had a really long thought about how I would rank these skills I thought were most important, but eventually I accepted that you need everything. You need every one of those skills, and I just start with what I learned later on actually, and what I found really hard to learn. I think one of the most important skills is actually to have a thick skin. You animate daily, you put your work out there, you pour your heart into that shot, and somebody else is just criticizing you constantly, giving you feedback on this piece of art you did, the piece of art you spent so many hours and days on, and then somebody says yeah, it's not working, let's do it differently. And this was really hard for me to accept, that I should not take this feedback personally. It's not that you are getting criticized yourself, that you are a bad person for doing this animation. It's about that you don't have all the informations maybe to make this shot what it needs to be in that production and what's wanted from the director. We try to help the director fulfill his vision. And our own opinion really doesn't matter. But let's just assume your average client in TV productions, in commercials, in Hollywood movies is not an expert in animation. Your skill is needed to help make this a great animation, because the director relies on you to create not just an average animation, but to create a great animation. And that's on you. That's on the director. You need to create this great animation. And that's why you're not a tool, you are an artist making the movie better. Don't feel like a tool, but you need to have thick skin because your work is criticized constantly. All of them are the most important. So the next most important thing would be creativity, because you have this limitation in a real show that this shot needs to fit into this tight box of options you have. You need to start here, you need to end there with this speed, but you need to make it great now. You start with this in school where you have all the freedom in the world. You get a dialogue and you think, okay, what setting does my dialogue have? What motivation do my characters have for this dialogue? You are way more contained later in the productions. But it's even more important to be really creative, because you still need to find this sparkling idea to make that shot amazing inside this strict restrictions of the show. Then once you got your amazing idea, I think posing your character and have this great pose is really important. When you think of the most simple structure of storytelling, like comic or manga films, posing is really important, and posing alone can tell a story. So it's really important to get your poses right and meaningful and full of passion and emotion and, well, really telling that moment of the story. Then I think comes character. You need to understand your character, not just who he is, but also for that shot, what happened before, what happens now, and what comes next. What's the character's goal and what's the obstacle to reach that goal in that shot. Now we have lots of different scales of obstacles and goals for a character inside a movie, but also often in that specific shot. Especially if you can find those two things, goal and obstacle, to reach that goal in that shot, it will make that shot way more interesting because you have opposites in your shot and the character needs to overcome something. And it can be as easy as walking from A to B. Well, the hallway is the obstacle he needs to overcome to get to the other point. It can be as complex as to gain the attention of the other one because you want to speak to the other person, but the other person ignores you. So this could be goal and obstacle. Find this from a big level to the smallest level to find contrast in your animations and in your shot. But also really important is not the contrast, but also the mood of the character. How does he feel right now about this obstacle? Is he happy about it? Is he sad? How does he enter the stage? And now timing is the most important thing to make this all interesting. When happens what and how fast? You can have a turn like, or you can have like a, ha! Totally different. Sometimes you need a small beat before something else happens to really tell the audience that the character's thinking about what just happened, to get this idea to then react. Once you have your creative, amazing idea, the cool posing, the character, what needs to be done, and the timing in, wait is the one big thing you need. Not in all productions. There are productions without any weight in the characters and they still tell great stories. But if you want to work in Hollywood movies or in the feature movies, weight is essential because weight is in everything. Weight is in the big belly, weight is in your jumps, weight is when you push something. But also when you really understand how weight works, weight is in the eyelid, weight is in your eyebrows, weight is in your muscles of the facial animation. Weight is in every single move we do, and you really need to have a deep understanding on how weight and body dynamics work. With these skills needed in the big business in mind, let's dive into Adam's reel and see how we can help him and how we can find out what needs to be improved to get the first job.
Here I am with Adam.
That's not my name.
Yes, it is.
What the
Adam!
I mean, you can't call her your girlfriend?
We're not labeling it.
Oh, you're not labeling it because you're too sophisticated.
Don't.
Yeah, spacey last shot there. Nice reel for still students. 30 seconds to a minute is totally fine. Just really pick your best animations. The level of quality you put in your reel will kind of give me an idea what you feel is good animation. So just be mindful of that. So have other people maybe double check your reel and ask them for an honest opinion what they think is the worst shot in your reel, and then rethink if you really need this shot. I do think all these shots, they totally show potential. They're a great beginning. There's also a long way to go there. I like the variety of the shots. We have the first shot as a nice push and pull shot for the classical weight exercise. Then we have an acting shot, a dialogue shot actually, another body dynamics shot with some more acting in it, and then a monologue shot, and then a pure reaction shot. So it's a nice choice if you want to go to character animation or feature animation. But there are also ambitious shots you choose there. I really like the audio choices of yours. They're really cool. They're really fun audios, and all the dialogues you chose have a fantastic potential because they are opposites. Push and pull. The general concept is cool because you have a standard push and pull assignment, but you decided to give some excitement with a ticking clock. So the cool thing is, he has a time restriction. He only has so much time to get his treasure out of the way until it gets smashed by the avalanche. So it's a really nice setup in the first case. When we think back of our character stuff, we have a clear motivation and a clear goal. He wants to secure his treasure. Obstacle is time. The avalanche will destroy his precious treasure when the time runs out. So that's cool, nice setup. Now we can really dive into the body dynamics, and this pull and push, I think we need to study a bit more what strong poses are when it comes to pulling and pushing objects. I'm not that good in drawing. Even if you act this out, I think you will find stronger poses, and I will do this in a second. See, you're pulling this, but also at the same time your back leg goes also in the same direction as you're pulling. So essentially you're only pulling with that leg, with bent arms. It's really hard to do. You want to pull on one leg with bent arms, it's quite hard. So you probably want to keep your arms straight when you pull. You want to feel the body is going back first, and then the arms come. You need the one moment where they lock. So you go back, you get the back, more back, pull back with the hip because you try to build up this tension, and then you need the moment where your arms extend a bit to build this pressure, and then they lock when they have the most power, and then the muscles are all tense, and then you pull the object. And then we need to think about how heavy this object is, and this will lead us to the acceleration of that object. Because the heavier the object is, the more power you need, but also the slower it accelerates. Look at the rocket start from SpaceX today, right? Slow at first, and then 30,000 kilometers an hour. Even to this tiny thing here, the chest starts moving before you build up the pressure there. So this re-grab is quite nice, and here you did a better job. So you see, you go back with the hip, like your arm work here, how you reach, how your arms are positioned on the chest is quite nice. It's also cool that you repositioned your hands, nice finger animation there. Then you broke the wrist a tiny bit. I think it's really hard to do that. The hand tends to rotate with the forearm. You can't bend that much. It's also a really important lesson, like know what angles you actually can do with your hand, because you can't do all angles with your hand, but we can normally do all angles inside a rig. Seniors right now on my show give me some impossible hand angles, and like, nah, it's not how it works. Test it out. And then somebody doing like that, and like, well, this guy can't. Anyway, and then the pushing, same idea. You need to build up the tension in the body before something happens. So first give me the leaning in, the muscles tension, and then something happens. And for something to happen, you need a clean power line, like a curve, strong curve, and then something pushes here, right? Head, yeah, and then I like the retraction of your character here. That's quite nice. But then also think about, again, the body dynamics. How does things stop? So you jump. How do you stop your jump? How do you stop your momentum? Because you jump in one direction. But how do you stop your momentum? Something needs to touch something to make something stop, right? And when we look at this one here, you jump, but in that jump, you stop your character before you hit the ground. And then you just only go, so your arc from the body looks like that. And basically what you need is this leg needs to be here. So you can stop your character. Though the pose itself is quite nice, it's just like how you stop your body. Also you break the rig here quite a bit. You're intersecting so much in the body there. Another thing, don't break the rigs, because you can't do this in the show anyway. If you need to break the rig in order to achieve the assignment, then you should definitely tell your lead or supervisor that you have done that, because this could cause so many issues. Imagine you broke the rig totally to achieve that cool animation. I showed it to the client loves it, like, oh, the best animation ever, let's put it in the movie, but you can't render it. And then you somehow need to tell the client, you know, this cool animation we did there, yeah, we can't render that. Don't break rigs without telling your supervisor. Everything is possible, but it needs to also fit through the pipeline. Just saying, just keep it in mind. In this moment here, this would be a great moment to show the audience how much this guy values his treasure. Because right now, I don't know what the impact would mean for him if he loses his treasure. But only if we know how much value something is, we can also judge the loss of it, right? So if you would give him a really, oh my God, my treasure, you know, give him the feeling, and then we know that this is a really big loss and we feel more emotionally attached. Couple of more frames where he looks back at his destroyed treasure to know how he feels about the loss. And I think this would add so much character to him. Give me the character in your body dynamic shot. Would make it so much greater. The next one. I love the possibilities in that shot. But we now need to figure out what we can do with that. And I don't know who these characters are. Why is she pretending that his name is Adam? How does Adam feel about that she calls him Adam? And if we know the backstory, did they had a one-night stand? Is this his new girlfriend who he met in a bar and then she doesn't remember his name? Who is on the phone? Is she trying to pretend that he is maybe just her best friend, Adam, or because it's a boyfriend on the phone? Or maybe she told her girlfriend, like, oh, I met this Adam guy, but she's hanging out with the other dude now. I know. What's their relationship? And this will tell us their reactions.
That's not my name.
Yes, it is.
What the
You know, that's not my name. Yes, it is. What the? So his reaction, I think, is quite boring, to be honest, because he obviously is not in the same game as she is, right? She's like, oh, but yes, it is. And he's like, what the fuck? No, it's not. You know, we have the classical beginner mistakes, I would say. Twinning, how he gets his arm up. This arm and this arm are moving at the exact same time. That's not my name. That's not my name. Just a bit offset. That's not my name. We tend to do that all the time, but that's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. Offset. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my. That's not my name. No. Act these things out, because acting out gives you the fastest way of trying different ideas. Blocking definitely isn't. Blocking takes time. Analyze when you move which limb, which body part. Break it down about motivation, goal, and obstacle. What's her goal in calling him Adam? What does she want from the person? Like, I met Adam. That's my name. Of course you're Adam. Try to find the most entertaining and fun and funny scenario and reactions to make it a memorable piece of animation, basically. The shot is cool because, well, drunken people are funny. Watching from a safe distance outside. Remember, something always leads your actions. So if you're macho or Wild West cowboy, the typical thing, they move and lead the whole action with your hips, you know. If you're in love, like, you want to maybe lead with your chest emotion, like chest, like, I want to go there. It's because drunk guys normally lead with the head. You're like, and you follow there. You know, something leads. It is also, by the way, a great acting exercise. Walk around a room and try to lead with different parts of your body. Try to lead with your hand. Get dragged around by, like, imagine your hand gets dragged around. Imagine your things get dragged around. Your right ear gets dragged around. Come up with something crazy what leads your walk cycle when you walk around in your room. This is all cool, I think. And then I guess his motivation is to try to slam this thing on the table, and he misses. His hand is like, But I also don't see what he feels. I miss some realization what just happened on him. Or maybe you can also add some characters, some emotions to it, like this. It's the last zip of the bottle. Maybe the bottle is empty, and you're like, act this out. Well, don't get fully drunk to act this out, but just and then when I do this, I kind of have rotation in my chest. No, I want to really hit it, because you don't have really any rotation in your chest here, besides on X. But there's no Y rotation happening here, especially in the reach here. I think you can break this up a lot if you add some Y rotation in the chest, and you have more like this profile. It gives you a nice tension in the body anyway, like and reach. And then this shot, great dialogue choice again.
Call her your girlfriend?
We're not labeling it.
Oh, you're not labeling it because you're too sophisticated.
The cool thing about this is a nice facial animation exercise. Well, first of all, I think you need to observe a bit more when you say what phoneme and the M's and B's and stuff to hit them a bit more clearly. But then the real... Oh, and you're intersecting here a lot with your arm. Anyway, the real exercise is to play different characters on one person here. Because she has this question...
You can call her your girlfriend?
You call her your girlfriend? With normal voice. And then she mocks him. And I think this is really nice to then try to push the facials.
We're not labeling it.
Oh, you're not...
Oh, you're not labeling it. You know, make some fun of it. Push the facials to a different character. To like, oh, so you call your girlfriend? Oh, I'm not labeling it. You know, have a really noticeable difference in her mimic in the first half of the shot, and then in her mocking him. But this is way better than the shot before, or the shot before that, because here you don't have the twinning anymore. You have the same thing, the same action happening, but right now the hands don't move at the same time and are not symmetric anymore. So this is a great improvement here. The last shot looks like personal work, which is cool. I like that he has a picture of himself there on this plain wall. The only thing he has is a picture of himself. It's quite fun. What does he want? Because he's like, you start the shot with eyes closed, but then he's actually sitting in front of the television we see later and watch these intersections. Anyway, is he watching TV, or was he falling asleep and he's dreaming that, you know, he's watching TV and then he's like, huh? Or is he watching TV and he wants to keep watching TV, like, I'm watching was give him some reaction, because right now it feels really, you went with the first idea kind of type animation. Watching, getting up slowly. There's no drama in there. There's no, contrast in his this would be freaking weird for me to see this suddenly hovering to me in real life, like, whoa, shit, what's going on? Obstacle, motivation. What is he doing? He wants to watch TV, something distracts him. Huh? And how does he feel about that? Actually, make sure he keeps on looking at him, because right now you're looking more to the camera than to this object. Eye direction. I always make sure your characters look at the right thing. Also, maybe have a good study pass on how your eyes move when you look to what. When do I move my eyes? How fast? When do I blink? Study those things. And then overlap. But I'm missing the arc. Let him get dragged more. He's really stiff. He's really tense to not have any bend in his body, because now his motions is clearly led by his face, because his face actually will drags him back. So why are the legs up? There's no reason yet. I understand when you hit first here, hit the legs against this wall maybe, and then they would slam up like that. Also, oh, please don't go through your own leg. Also, you can also rotate your feet down, so you have more weight in your feet as well. Whoop. Like the ending, it's great. Cool. So I think all in all, Adam, you're in a great way. Study these things, which body parts lead which actions and how. Try them out, test them out. Think about the characters, the motivation of the characters, the mood, the goals, and what stops them from reaching their goals. What do they want, the characters, and how do they react? And how can you push the reaction to get it even more entertaining? Because really recording yourself and analyzing and studying these recordings is as important than the animation part itself. Studying movements. And remember, especially in the beginning, it's not about polishing your shots really more. Polish will come more and more over time, because you naturally will improve by just the quantity of things you animate. Keep your shots short. And honestly, I hope you had fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you next week with another episode of Honest Real Reviews. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep animating, keep pushing yourself, and have fun. And mainly have fun.